Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 7 of the North Pole series. Today what we are going to be doing is kind of adding some details, bits and bobs around the area, kind of making the whole park look a little bit more complete. We're starting off with a little tree sale area. Now I did also film the area in the center with the big tree. I did put presents, added lights around it everywhere, but for some reason when I went to input the footage into my editor, it was just a black screen. So I do apologize, lost that, but you will see that in the B-roll. Next thing I wanted to do was a bridge going across this path, just because I didn't want it to just be a floating path. I did want it to have some sort of supporting structure. And I have always wanted to do a bridge, and in this case the bridge that I decided to do was more of a suspension style bridge, and I think it turned out really well at the end. Main theme for this bridge was kind of sticking to the same things we have in the past, but I was using some different materials, use some of those spooky beams to kind of accent stuff, and also use the brick columns instead of the brick walls, just because they do kind of have the same texture, but they also have a small profile, obviously, so I could get them more of a post style. So I'm just kind of figuring out what I can do to try to make this bridge look good. As you can see, scrolling through every single option that I have, trying to find what it is I can use, trying to make this building, or bridge, look the way that I wanted it to, just trying to get it to go to a good point. Now, like other buildings I've done, I'm using the strategy where I'm just building this one and then I will copy it over and over again, so that way I don't have to make the same thing 4 times. I can just copy it as I do there, and it's a lot easier than doing that. Now trying to make the path a little bit more integrated into the bridge as well. So unfortunately I do have I would upload this to the workshop, but because it's such a path specific bridge, I don't think I will. If it was all flat I probably would, but it is pretty specific, but I might upload a portion to it, we'll see. But yeah, just kind of integrating it, adding some supports here and there, and now adding the fences so the guests don't fall off. Now here I'm adding kind of the suspension part of the suspension bridge. As I'm sure if you don't know, suspension bridges are usually held up by a series of cables. So what I did here is I just used the electrical wires or cables within the game and just extended them outward to make it seem like they were holding up the bridge. Just copy and pasted that on small scales for the smaller towers, and obviously the biggest tower was the one with the main support. Then also, in order to give the base a little bit more structure, eventually I do add some cones or bigger pieces at the bottom, as you can see here, just so that way it looks like the cables are going into some sort of mounting piece, so that they're not just it gives it the feel that it has a little bit more structure than what it would have just with the wire by itself. Thinking the bottom looked a little bit bare, I started working on a little support structure for the underside of the bridge as well, and I wanted to kind of create a little bit of an art piece here, so making an arch, and then using some of the smaller wood pieces, making it so that it has a few circles, making it look as dynamic as I can, making it also interesting to look at so it's not too boring. So just adding things here and there, filling up the space, making it look kind of like maybe it would be able to be structurally sound if this was an actual bridge, but also making sure it looked good at the same time. Since we are still doing a holiday theme, I had to try to make this look a little bit of a festive bridge. So adding our usual garland and lights and frosting as well, just to make this bridge fit in with the rest of the park. Now off camera I did do a little bit more details, added our normal path over the bridge as well, just to kind of make the pathways seamless. And then we're on to our next project. And what we're doing here is a reindeer pen. So I thought it'd be a cool idea if to have kind of a petting zoo environment where the guests could have a place to go and visit the reindeer and get a picture with them, pet them. I guess if you wanted to, I don't know how dangerous reindeer would be. So I just kind of created what would be kind of a farming atmosphere, I guess. Like, what would the reindeer need? Probably some shelter. Then I just made these silo things that a lot of the farms have just because they're a farming item. So I just designed those, added some details, put some pipes around just to kind of make them not too flat. Copied it over so I'd have two of them. And then from my little building templates, copied a few up on top of here to kind of give it the area a little bit more of a border, and also started fencing off the area a little bit more so the reindeer would not escape. Making sure I had plenty of entrances or gates within the fences for people to walk through. I did have them open just so that you could tell that they were there. And then started adding some minor details, including the reindeer themselves, which was a TMTK item. Adding some hay bales, some barrels, just adding some clutter, and then put some mud all around the area because I don't think the reindeer would be standing in one spot, so they'd probably walk around, stirring up the snow, so there wouldn't probably be much snow left. And then just adding trees around the area as well. And then kind of made this into a little plaza area, extending the pathwork a little bit. And then making this kind of a seating area for guests, using some TMTK benches for the areas that I couldn't place on the bench or on the path, and then using the actual ones that we've used before for the actual path items for the guests to use. As I'm trying to make sure that this park is easy to navigate, try to put a sign on mostly everything. This is no exception, so start making a reindeer sign just to indicate what it is for this area. Use this font again. I don't know what it is with it. It is TMTK obviously, but the creator of the TMTK decided to make it so that they move a little bit, which I think is really strange, but just deactivate it to stationary and it's no problem. Next thing what we're working on is some shops for this plaza area up top across the bridge. I didn't want to make too big of buildings because we did a lot of those and we couldn't fit many if we did do them in this area, so I decided to choose a few shops and then using some of the in-game pieces for the signage, make it so that each kind of shop was one block 4x4 meters and just theme it around the shop. So just kind of made the base building, copy and pasted it onto all the others, and used the signage for each shop for themage, and gave it a little bit individuality for each building, kind of putting a unique item for each one. For the Cosmic Cow, I went for a kind of outdoor seating area, so I made a little awning there. And for the Chief Beef, went for a relatively simple kind of seating area, just a little raised area with some fake seating that I guess couldn't actually use, but it still looks pretty good. I was actually very happy with the way that this Gulpy one turned out. Ended up making this little side area, having some pipes going into the floor. Gives it kind of that steampunk vibe a little bit that we've been going on here. But also I think it looks really good for Gulpy, since it's kind of a juice, so the juice is coming through the pipes. I just think it looks like a really cool detail on the side of that building. I did adjust all the buildings a little bit because I realized I didn't quite put them in correctly. It was blocking some of the shops a little bit, so I adjusted that quickly. Then onto the water and bathrooms, which more of the same thing, just adding detail specific stuff. And this one I wanted to add a little bit more for the guests to do, so I added a little vending machine for the water as well. And kind of did the same thing I did for the Cosmic Cow, made a little awning for the vending machine to have its home. Alright, now what we're doing is kind of the same thing that I did for the lower plaza area, but the video got corrupted, as I said. But basically what I did, made some posts, added some garland, and just copy and pasted those around. And looking back on it, I don't actually really like where these shops are placed, so I will be changing these later. When I was actually building them in the first place, I do actually like where they were placed kind of there. I just think I'm gonna put them back to that location and rotate them around a little bit, so I'll have to adjust all this again, which I don't mind, because since I want it to look the best that it can. And then the last thing we're gonna be building is kind of a Santa meet and greet, so kind of just making a little mini stage, giving a little background as well, using one of the screens and the images provided. Just kind of decorated it with our theming as we usually do. One thing that I did not film for this was actually another flat ride that I did. It's the drop tower kind of by the Reindeer Pen, so you will see that towards the end of the B-roll, and enjoy!
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws, out jumps good old Santa Claus.
Alright guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you did enjoy. We only have a few more things left to do in this park. Both of them are massive buildings, but we will get them done. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Like I said, I'll be changing a few things off camera, but you'll see that in the final episode of what we do. Next episode, we're going to be working on the Toy Factory, which will be the biggest building in the park. We'll see you guys then in the next episode. Bye!